Welcome everybody. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a brand new YouTube video, and that's going to be on Doom. So if you see a picture of the Doom movie in the background of my videos, that is why. This movie stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Carl Urban, and a whole bunch of other people, and this is one of my guilty pleasure movies. So this is going to be part of my guilty pleasure series, which is a movie series where I pretty much talk about the movies that I find interesting, that are kind of campy, kind of suck a little bit sometimes, but I happen to like them. I think they're pretty good works of art. So Doom is a variation of the video game of the same name. It's one of my favorite video games is Doom 3. I played a lot of that on the Xbox originally when I was a kid. I used to have like a huge theater room and everything, and we hooked up our Xbox then. I used to play Doom 3 and Halo and stuff like that on that all the time, and a couple of other video games. It was pretty funny. I probably wore out a couple of bulbs from that just from playing those video games and watching movies and stuff, but when this movie came out, I didn't really know what to expect. I was a little bit offended at first because this goes way further away from the video games. This pretty much takes place specifically on Mars, as does most of the other video games, but these things are more or less just like zombies, and they're not actual like demons from hell, which is what the video game is. You're basically a space like marine going down and hunting down demons and stuff, and this movie is a little bit like that in a way, but it's only hunting down zombies and like imp creatures, which some of the designs for them are pretty interesting. You got this one that has like multiple eyes, and you've got the Pinky Demon, which is eventually the guy that's in the wheelchair at the beginning of the movie. He becomes the Pinky Demon, and then Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson kind of fights him with a chainsaw at one point. And it goes through the first-person scene, which is pretty much my favorite part of that movie. Is the first-person chainsaw scene. It's kind of like a maze where you're kind of walking around, and you have the gun kind of pointed up, and you kind of like shooting all the demons and stuff, and that's really interesting to see in there. Like, I wish more movies would do that, where if you have like a found footage and it's supposed to be a first-person shooter, why not make the entire movie kind of like that, where you kind of have like moments where you kind of put the gun down and stuff, and then have people talking and stuff, and you could raise the gun when you need to. And that's a very unique idea that they kind of tried to perfect for that, because they wanted to originally have this movie be completely in first person, but they found that they weren't able to do that because you kind of need to show the actor's face and emotions and stuff while they're talking, just because if you did a movie completely in a first-person way, it wouldn't work. But I feel like you can make it work kind of like a video game where you kind of switch between the first-person and third-person modes. That would probably be an idea that could kind of work in sort of a situation like that, or treat it like a found footage type of movie. Maybe that would work as well. But this movie has a lot of cast and characters. They kind of banter back and forth and have some pretty funny dialogue at times. There's a lot of chase sequences where they're kind of running down the halls and stuff and fighting off demons that are kind of chasing after them. And then you get the Hell Knight situation, which is awesome, where it's the first person sequence and you see the Hell Knight just kind of smack Carl Urban's character onto the ground, and he has to kind of like dodge and weave through that. That's kind of cool. I like the designs of the creatures. I think they're really interesting, even though they don't really fit the mold for Doom. I think that this would fit a mold for like a zombie in a horror movie situation, kind of like that. But this movie is basically about a researcher that kind of is stuck on Mars doing some research for the UAC, which is Union Aerospace Corporation, and basically they're there to kind of study ancient prehistoric creatures that were once there on Mars. And this leads them to discovering this vaccine that's able to kind of make people into zombies, basically like zombie creatures that kind of mutate and then kill people. And that's one of the things that they didn't do right. They didn't stay true to the source material, which is they find a portal from hell, basically on Doom, and then it kind of activates, and then they release the monsters and stuff. And that's pretty much what Doom is. Like, if you're gonna make a Doom movie, try and make it at least accurate. Like, I could have like bought the whole demon like mutant thing if it was demons from hell, because that would have made a little bit sense. Like I said before in previous reviews that I've given, sometimes you need to change things, but changing things just for the sake of changing things isn't going to work. There's got to be a logical reason, story-wise, for that to happen. Otherwise, it's just going to be one of those movies that people are going to forget. Now, this is a movie that has some really cool one-liners, like when Sergeant, whoever the character is that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson plays, gets kind of like grabbed at the end of the movie, and he's drugged through this portal type thing, and he kind of grabs onto it. He's like, "I'm not supposed to die." Like, that was a really cool one-liner. And then he grabs the BFG out of the little containment area, and he's like, "Big fucking gun." Like, that's some cool moments in there. Like, if you can watch the movie just kind of as a campy type base of like a film, then I can see people enjoying that. But if you're going to try and take this film seriously by any means, then I would suggest seeing Doom, because you can find ways to enjoy this movie even though it's not the best movie in the world. But I really do like this movie. I'm not going to give this a letter grade just because this is part of my film collection, something that I like. Not everybody's going to like this movie. This appeals to gamers and non-gamers alike because this is a horror movie that you can kind of just sit down for fun and just drink a couple of beers and laugh at sort of the stupidity of what's going on in the situation. But I like this movie. I think it's fantastic. I think there's some cool parts in this, especially the fight scene with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Carl Urban at the end of the movie. That's pretty awesome because they're trying to make it to the surface, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson's character is kind of just wiping people out that he thinks might be infected with the virus, and Carl Urban's character is kind of like, this is wrong, we shouldn't be doing this, so he kind of throws down with The Rock and stuff, and there's a pretty cool action sequence in there, so overall, this is a really good movie. If you're just looking for some camp and some kind of raunchy fun, this is one that you're definitely going to enjoy. But if you're taking this as a serious movie, you're not going to enjoy it. Especially critics will probably not like this movie, but I really enjoyed it. So that's my take on Doom, and that's my first Guilty Pleasure series. So if you guys want to see more of these types of videos in the future where I kind of talk about movies that I like that not necessarily everybody else likes, please let me know down below in the comment section. Rate, comment, subscribe as usual, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.